Check, check. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Hear double echo. Check, check. Can you guys hear me? I think this might get in the way. Let me take this off. It's been a while. How you guys doing? If you guys can hear me, please let me know. Taishim says he can hear me. How you guys doing? We got Cast Egg. Uh-oh. What happened now? What happened now with this OBS? What happened now with my cam link? Uh-oh. Already. What the hell? Hold on. What the hell? Come on. Come on. Dude, we just got on. Okay. I think we're good. This music is a little bit too loud for me. Okay. I think we're fine. So, HR1 is here. Robin is here. I Hate Power is here. Johnny Silverhand is here. Taishim is here. Great, miss you, man. Yeah, it's been a while. You know, guys, I was actually going to surprise each and every one of you with Chainsaw Man review. Because last week, and don't worry, we will talk about the chapters, the several chapters since my last video review, which I believe was 213, 214, something like that. Yoshida died. I just wanted to get my thoughts across Yoshida dying. And of course, because Shueisha is an idiot, and we will talk about how much of an imbecile this company is. Let me just show you my merch store. Look, it's a little bit of a shameless plug. I'm not really going to talk about it. I just don't want to show the manga panels for too long because Shueisha will give me a copyright strike. Because, guys, spoilers, I have already received a copyright strike yesterday. So that's why I wanted to come and make this video right now because if you guys don't know, I am talking about Kagurabachi, right? Like the Explained series. We do Chainsaw Man. You've seen Dandadan. Many people have discovered me from Dandadan for the first time. And I did put out a video on my YouTube channel titled, Kagurabachi, the entire story explained, year one, right? Kind of like a nod to Batman year one type of thing. But because I'm going to have the third arc video, the Sword Bear's assassination, coming out this week, I decided, hey, it would probably be a good idea if instead of people watching this 1.5 hour video, I don't know if it's going to show up on stream. Yeah, the year one. Let me just divvy these up for people who are new to the channel, who are new into watching Kagurabachi, who has never seen the series and want to know, like, okay, is year one explaining obviously all of year one of the story, but how long has Kagurabachi been around? A lot of people don't know how long Kagurabachi's been around. So anyway, that's why I made a part one and a part two. But within a week of uploading both part one and part two last week in preparation for part three, which is going to come out tomorrow, Shueisha took down both of those videos and have given me a copyright strike. Now, for people who are familiar with YouTube or who are new to it, if you don't know, once a channel gets 3 copyright strikes, your channel is terminated completely. You can't really recover it. There's probably very rare instances where that is the case, but for 99.9% of all of us, it is not. So, because I received 1 copyright strike, if I get 1 more, I'm not allowed to upload videos for the next, well, I guess I just can't upload videos for, I think, 90 days. It's something pretty extreme. Now, some people might say, well, the last time you uploaded a video was a month ago, so what's the fucking problem? And to that, I say touche. But, I told you guys I took a break when I put out that last Chainsaw Man video a while back because I just wanted to catch up to the Explained series. I wanted to catch up on Dandadan. I've been way behind on Dandadan. I want to start catching up on Kagurabachi. And all this time off, on top of, IRL, on top of what I'm doing with my merchandise store, I've been busy. Like, it's crazy that I'm now live streaming and talking to you guys when I put out that notification on my Discord, and then even the timer earlier around like 12 or 2 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, 7:30, like, bet I got so much time to do everything I need to do today. And surprise, surprise, I really haven't gotten to any of the stuff I really wanted to do. I mean, I was productive, but time really flies. So anyway, I wanted to come out here and just talk and ramble for a bit because, look, I haven't paid him, but I'm going to pay my editor his 4 weeks of work editing this Kagurabachi video. But I know the moment it goes up, either tomorrow or within the week, Shueisha is going to give me a copyright strike, and then I won't be able to upload for the next 90 days, or maybe it's 60 days. You're just not allowed to upload once you have 2 copyright strikes, and if you get one more, your channel's terminated. Now, why am I not scared of this? Well, because if you also type in, let's see, DJ Miles copyright, I am no stranger to Shueisha giving me many, many copyright strikes. I mean, I have made a video, 3 videos on this. Look at this, announcement, copyright strike. How to upload DJ mixes without copyright strike. Wow. Okay, where is freaking DJ Miles copyright strike? I put copy strikes. Whoops. Copyright strikes. Here we go. 8 copyright strikes. Fight false copyright strikes. Right. Some of these videos are a bit dated, but, it's all right there. You can feel free to watch the trilogy on DJ Miles dealing with copyright strikes and all that crap. So luckily, the good news is I already rebuted. I'm sounding stupid. I have already submitted a counterclaim notification. So those 2 Kagurabachi videos that were taken down yesterday, they will go back up in 10 business days. Once you submit a counter strike notification. I'm messing up the words. Anyway, once I appeal the strike, Shueisha, the business, has 10 business days to say, hey, okay, we'll go to court. But because they live in Japan and I live in America, and neither one of us wants to go to fucking court over a fucking YouTube video, Shueisha's not going to do a single fucking thing. That's what I'm saying. Fuck off, Shueisha. So because I know they're not going to do anything, but they want to complicate the lives of content creators who promote and help their series, my video is going to come back. But the answer I need to tell you guys is that, look, do I wait 10 business days for the first strike to be lifted only for my second video to immediately be removed? Or do I just say, fuck that, I just upload the second video now, get the second copyright strike, not be able to upload for the next 90 days, but because those first 2 videos have already got the counter notification, right, for me to appeal them, I'm going to have 1 strike removed. And once 1 strike is removed, then I'll have 1 strike. And if I have 1 strike, I'm still able to upload videos. So, yeah. So, that's where we are now. I can put out the Kagurabachi video tomorrow, the Sword Bear's assassination. But it will most likely get a strike within the week. And if I get a strike within the week, I won't be able to upload for a while. However, as I said, after 10 business days, the 2 videos that were taken down initially from my channel yesterday, they will be removed. The video will be reinstated. I will have 1 less strike. Therefore, I can upload videos. But then that Sword Bear's assassination is just going to be in limbo for another 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. And I hate it, because there's a part of me where, I put out a video a long time ago. It didn't get that many views, but it was over the summer, and I didn't really care what it generated. I guess I'm lying. If it generated good views, I probably would have been more consistent. But, you know, everyone talking about Blue Lock. Like, I'm a fan of Blue Lock. I really want to talk about Blue Lock. I've been wanting to talk about Blue Lock for a while. I put out this video right here, chapter 313. I think they're on chapter, 320 or something like that right now. And I want to talk about Blue Lock because when I talk about Blue Lock, I'm definitely not going to get a copyright strike. You know, do we pivot and talk about Blue Lock? I'm going to talk about Blue Lock at some point, but the priority still remains the same. I want to finish Dan Da Dan. I want to finish Kagurabachi. And of course, we're going to finish Chainsaw Man as well. It only makes sense to finish Chainsaw Man because we are at the very end of Chainsaw Man. So anyway, I wanted to get that announcement out of the way. I know, when you look at my channel, even with YouTube Shorts, as aggressive as I am with YouTube Shorts, it's like, man, I haven't uploaded a YouTube Short, literally a month ago. So the channel has been quiet, but I promise behind the scenes, I've been writing the scripts for the Kagurabachi, for the Dan Da Dan. I even have a second editor now working on Dan Da Dan while my main editor works on Kagurabachi because he's really passionate about the series. And just the little I've seen of him editing, it looks phenomenal. Like, I cannot wait to show you this video tomorrow. But yeah, that's the situation where we are now. And yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about Chainsaw Man for a while because it's been a while since this video, since, Age of Devils. I know it's not called the Age of Devils. We know it's not called the Age of Devils. I have to call it fucking something because the wiki team has no idea what to call it yet. Rightfully so either. Yeah. So anyway, what is chat saying? Have you seen the Chainsaw Man movie yet? I have not seen it. I'm going to watch it on Thursday. First copyright strike we went through before was already a pain to hear about. Now it's getting into shitstorms. Let me see. So yes, BS people be getting away with crap, but these nice, respectful YouTubers like DJ Miles get punished for no reason. Not fair. Yeah, I know. Well, it's not me. It's just everyone in anime YouTube. And the only way to circumvent to not get a copyright strike is to join an MCN, which stands for a multi-channel network. And what these people do is they will region block your content. So like Shueisha, company in Japan, they won't be able to find my content at all, which is good. Then they can't give you copyright strikes. But what's the problem joining an MCN? Well, it's for just the small fee of 10 to 30% of my channel revenue. They will protect me from my content being, flagged for copyright strike. Guys, I don't make a lot of money. And because there's 25 people watching, and let's say even there's 200 people watching, let me tell you guys how much money I make, okay? You know how like Charlie Moist Critical uploaded like, here's what my channel revenue is, and he made $35 million? Guys, this is a channel with 121,000 subscribers, okay? You want to see how much money I make? I'm going to show you right now, okay? Here we go. Hopefully that's shown right there in the... I don't know if you guys can really see that at all. Can you guys read that number well? Let me see. Let me just try and just make that big for you. Okay. So let me space this out. All right. So September, I made $1,900. That's really good. We'll talk about where all this money goes, by the way. May, $600. June, $900. July, $800. August, $1,200. $1,900 September. October, right now, $800. Probably by the end of the week, it might be close to like $1,200. Okay? Now, this definitely came from the Dan Da Dan season finale. Boom. This is coming from the Chainsaw Man Reze arc. Boom. That's why these months have been good. The rest of this, it just slow. That's like what I make, There you go. As you can see, this is not enough money for me to retire. This is not even enough money for like rent. It's good side hustle money. But you know what? If you guys don't know, right? And I don't want to put my editor's business out there. My editor charges a respectable amount. So he gets paid. A thumbnail costs $65. because I'm talking about Kagurabachi and, I wanted 3 or 4 thumbnails for that. What's 65 times 4? The money goes towards that, Everything else goes towards, like subscriptions via, YouTube channel. It goes to, some stuff I do as a DJ. Not this money, like my DJ money. But anyway, this is all to say, by the time I have like any quote unquote play money, it's literally being reinvested into the channel, So there you go. And look at that. Estimated revenue, 1,400 the last 28 days. Again, yeah, it's like nice money. But knowing that I have 2 editors, my channel is like paying for the cost of my editors, right? Like at least I'm not paying out of pocket. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to show you guys for full transparency. That's, where we are with, the situation right now with my channel and all that stuff. Let me go ahead and minimize this. Hold on. Ooh, okay. I can't. God, I hate OBS. Okay. Let's go ahead and make this smaller. Let's go ahead and read the chat. Okay. Who said I'm getting swole? Hold on. I just saw a comment that said, damn, why was he getting swole? Oh my God. Peak people, peak YouTube, CSM current arc. That's what we call it. I'm going to see the Chainsaw Man movie on Friday. That's very cool, Taishim. Yeah, I'll be watching it Thursday. But do you think it might actually be Asa over? Yeah, we'll talk about that. So now that I rambled for, how long did I fucking ramble for? 16, 17 minutes. See, doesn't it feel good to be back? When I do a live stream, we always bullshit for 15 to 20 minutes. Now you guys know the situation in the event I can't upload for the next, 2.5 weeks. Do I think it's also over? Yeah, I guess we can quickly talk about that and then, go over these individual chapters. For me, money goes to food and food goes to my stomach. Preach, man. Love food. I love the Chainsaw Man videos. They are so interesting to watch. I appreciate that. Of course, poor Asa and Yoru. We here for the rambling. Thank you, Tone Roll Up. Tone Roll 'em up. Tone Roll 'em up. Hold on. Let me put my phone on silence real quickly. I got this notification real quickly. Hold on. Oh, I guess one thing I can say for just my merch store real quickly. So the Chainsaw Man playmat / mousepad is sold out. Obviously, for people who are new or who don't know, I sell custom mousepads, playmats. This was done from my thumbnail artist, Sumo. So shout out to Sumo. This mousepad is pretty sick. I am currently out of stock of this one, but I will say for those of you who want the Don one, please let me know. It is $30 right now. I will discount it to 50% off. So if you guys want one, just let me know. I will discount it to 50% off. Ask for the discount code on Discord, and I will send it there. So there it is. Ta-da. Look how beautiful it is. All right. Now, without further ado, let's go and talk about Chainsaw Man. We got 4 chapters to talk about with Chainsaw Man. Someone asked, DJ Miles, do I think it's Asa over? I love how the Gojo Sukuna meme is just something really carried from, post Sukuna Gojo battle. And do I think it's going to be Asa over? I believe that Asa and Denji should have a happy ending. But I also know that this is Fujimoto. And because this is Fujimoto, he is going to make a lot of people suffer and die from now until the end of the story. I also hope that Chainsaw Man Part 2 is the first story that, twist the narrative of knowing that Fujimoto is going to give these people bad and insufferable endings. Well, okay, I'm being a bit hyperbolic. You know what I'm saying? They come out okay, but scarred. So is Asa going to live or is Denji going to live? Are both of them going to live? Are both going to die? I feel like Fujimoto is going to kill one of them. If I had to pick who, going off the latest chapter, I'm going to say I think Asa could die. However, that's probably the thing that Fujimoto expects us to believe, and therefore ends up killing Denji for the sake of Asa having a good life. So that's my thoughts. It's kind of like yes, but no, but maybe. It's a horrible answer, but if I'm a betting man, I think one of them will die. I don't know who. It's quite literally like a coin flip. You know, when people were watching the Sukuna versus Gojo battle in the week to week, man, what a time to be a JJK fan. Those league days were freaking crazy. It was so hype. I think a lot of people narratively knew Gojo could not beat Sukuna. But man, did we try to cross our fingers hoping Gojo would, you know? And for people who haven't watched JJK and are like, oh my God, spoilers, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you, you know? Sorry. But like, you get what I'm saying? Like that week to week was so much fun because it's like, I know Gojo can't win, but we're still rooting for the best and I still want to see a crazy outcome, right? With Chainsaw Man, it's really like, I really think it's a coin toss. Like, I really feel like one of these people can die. And if you tell me either Denji or Asa dies, am I surprised? I would say no. And that's how I feel as of right now. I'm not going to be surprised if one of these characters die. I don't think both will die, but I think one for sure, there's a higher chance of one of them not making it out alive than both of them making it out alive. As of 217. This is how I feel. I mean, I felt this way for a long time, but just looking at it anyway, this is how I feel. So, and let's go ahead and backtrack to chapter 213. Yoru backstory coming soon. I mean, I feel like we had a good backstory with 217 with the whole stuff with the mom, right? That was like a big revelation. Part 3 likely happened. We haven't seen Power and Kishibe yet. Oh, boy. IDM Mortem. Yeah, we got to talk about that. Guys, I am feeling a bit reluctant on Kishibe showing up. And the same thing with, well, Power, I think Power will come to some capacity. I don't know about Kishibe anymore. You know, I think there's going to be people in the chat, definitely in the comment sections, if I'm able to, you know, if I don't get a copyright strike next week, and I can talk about Chainsaw Man 218. One of the things I do want to, like, really knock on Chainsaw Man Part 2 is the absence of Kishibe. I think if Kishibe even shows up, it's kind of one of those, like, a lot of problems that happened between public safety and Denji specifically, which is like half of the story, could have been prevented if Kishibe was here. And if Kishibe was here, or if Kishibe arrives now, it's like, but like, I don't know. That's the thing. What's the reason why Kishibe would show up now? And when he shows up, hypothetically speaking, it better be a good fucking answer on why he was away for this entire time, right? You know, I made the joke of, like, he was closing the seals, the gates of hell for more devils coming and appearing to planet Earth, because that is the only explanation I'm going to give Kishibe as to why he let the entire event that happened in Chainsaw Man Part 2 to Naita to Denji happen, and I'll give it a slide. I don't know if Kishibe is going to come anymore. He should come in Chainsaw Man Part 2. And here's the other part. Let's just be, you know, dire here. Let's just be, doom and gloom for a second, and just say Kishibe is not going to come. I don't care what happens at the end of Part 2. But part 2 will lose a lot of points because Kishibe is omitted from the story. Now, a lot of people would say, DJ Miles, why would you like knock so many points? Like Chainsaw Man Part 2 is about Asa and it's about Denji and blah, blah, blah. Yes, when it comes to those characters, that's great. But you cannot create a sequel in this world of Chainsaw Man when we know the role and responsibilities that Kishibe had, and for him to not be referenced one time. To be fair, Quan Chi did reference Kishibe at the Prison Break arc, right? She's like, oh, a good friend told me that, devils are crazy and you don't fight the crazy devils, right? I love the Kishibe shout out. So it's not like Fujimoto forgot about Kishibe, but Kishibe not being in this part, when we know his relationship with Denji, when we know he experienced all that crazy shit with Makima, for him to not do anything with Nayuta to protect Nayuta from the distance, it's kind of fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, guys, I'm the Chainsaw Man guy. I love Chainsaw Man, and I love Chainsaw Man Part 2 for many aspects. But one of the things that will lose points with me is the omission of Kishibe, because Kishibe was too important to the story to write off. What should have happened is that bring Kishibe in the story, fucking kill him, so when he's dead, now all the shit that happens is like, well, fuck, no one is really looking after public safety. Kishibe was like the one good grace in public safety before, what's the name? Yoshida and other people who have more like sinister things, right? Like the old government farts that, had their own agenda of sacrificing kids and, trying to do a deal with the aging devil, right? Like, now they can do that because Kishibe is gone. But Kishibe is just not here. And Kishibe is a big fucking vital part to public safety. So why is Kishibe not here? You get what I'm saying? Like, am I going crazy? Like, I know there's a more eloquent way to say it. But I'm like, bro, Kishibe not being here has been the biggest problem for me in the story. Not because, oh my God, I want Kishibe to come. Oh, not because he's one of my favorite characters. It's like, no, because his role was so vital and integral to public safety. How the fuck do you not include him? It's kind of crazy. Johnny says, I get what you're saying in a way. For all we know, Kishibe is on the other side of the world. That's what I'm saying, but let us know. How do we not know? And again, to be fair, Fujimoto can say, Kishibe can come next chapter and say, oh man, I've been to the other part of the world. I've been fucking handicapped. I've been kidnapped. I got beat up. I couldn't help Nayuta. I'm pissed, but now I'm here and now I'm going to fuck shit up. That can retroactively just solve a lot of things. So, as the smart ass people would like to say, well, it's not over until it's over, so let's just see where it goes. Okay, you're right. But if Fujimoto is not in part 2 by the end of this story, I mean, part 2 just loses a lot of points for me because, again, narratively speaking, a lot of stuff could have been prevented if this one character actively was fucking shown. Kill him off. I don't care. But he had to be in the story. And as of right now, because he hasn't been in the story, I don't know. It's just problematic for me. We've joked a lot with Kishibe and Reze. I don't know. The same thing with Reze. I don't know why Reze hasn't appeared yet. I still have more hope for Reze to appear again because, well, she's a hybrid. And we are quite literally having this battle for for the sake of humanity being saved, for mankind for not being, thrown in this desolate world that Yoru wants to create, right? This never-ending war. And I don't think you can have this war with all the weapons, right? Like, Barum supposedly is dead, but we know that you can't really kill the hybrid, so maybe there's going to be a new flamethrower hybrid shown soon, right? But, we've seen Quan Chi, we've seen Mary, we've seen the whip hybrid, right? You can't have 6 out of the 7, and I said this a bajillion times too. We can't have 6 out of the 7 hybrid devils, and you omit, debatably, the most popular one. It's just weird that Fujimoto knows everyone loves Bomb Girl and just doesn't show her. Like, again, I don't need to like see her. It just could have been a sentence. It could have been a fucking bubble passage that says, hey, where's Bomb Girl? Where's Reze? Oh, she's in the Soviet Union. She's not dealing with this shit in Japan. That's it. That's it. That's all I needed to hear. But like, we don't even get that. You know, like, again, it's a ding on part 2. So, I don't know. El De Luna says maybe the movie is foreshadowing for her to come back. I would hope so. And good point. David says, but how would you reintroduce her at this point? The only, the easiest way or sneakily to bring her back is by Yoru, right? She is the War Devil. War Devils have all these weapons of arsenal at her disposal. Gun, tank. The War Devil having nukes. Adjacent to that, bombs. It just seems like a very easy fix, right? Like, it can just easily be one of those. Oh, you were wondering to know where the Bomb Girl was? Well, psych, I killed her a long time ago. Here she is. And you know how, like, the fake Chainsaw Man did that, like, weird mutant, well, not that weird mutant thing, but, like, grab the bodies of all these civilians and it's, like, absorbing them, right? Like, have Yoru do something so sinister of, like, oh, you were, like, looking for Reze? Here's, like, her little choker I have. It's, like, a little emblem. Or here's her little outfit, whatever, Again, we don't need to see Reze, but I think it's an easy right for Yoru to say, oh, Bomb Girl? Yeah, she's like, I absorbed her, I killed her, she's a part of my arsenal now. There you go. Very easy. That's why I have more hope for, Reze to appear. We put in the movie tie-in. She's one of the most popular characters in Chainsaw Man. It's easy for her to come back. So I'm going to have more hope for her because I think her role can still easily be etched into the story. Same thing with Kishibe. But the reasoning for Kishibe, if he comes back, better be way more believable than what they can do with Reze. Okay? Why would a hybrid obey War Devil, though she isn't Makima and Reze is a hybrid? Well, I mean, she's friggin'... No. I think you're Mortem. I think you're getting this wrong. War would just kill Bomb. Like War, like Bomb is like a part of her arsenal now, right? That's what I'm saying. Then again, the power of the Horseman might be hierarchical, War being stronger than Control, etc. Yeah, and it could be one of those two. So you never know. Anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and talk about Chainsaw Man chapter, not 213, but 214. So this is pretty crazy. Denji, of course, survived the blast because he's Chainsaw Man. Yoshida's here. We see him, gone. And, well, he's badly injured. Contracted with the Octopus Devil. He could still be alive here, but Barham says, I'm going to, burn him up alive. And then he says his name, Hirofumi Yoshida. We both sure drew the short straw. Okay. God, I feel like I'm sounding so negative. I'm going to have to make a video on, like, what I love, but the problems I have with Chainsaw Man Part 2. When Part 2 came out, they said Yoshida was going to play a big role in Chainsaw Man in the next Chainsaw Man part. And, to that, I agree. Sorry, I don't want to show the panels too much. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Let's just put Yoshida. Yoshida did a lot. It's funny. Let's show this Yoshida. Yoshida did a lot in Chainsaw Man Part 2. But he was that mysterious character that we really didn't get a whole lot of, right? Like in terms of a backstory. We end up finding out in like these last chapters, like chapter 212, that like, oh, maybe he did enjoy Denji's company to a certain degree. Maybe he wishes he could have lived more of a student life than playing this lapdog role to public safety, right? Just doing stuff for the sake of public safety and full servitude and not question it, right? We see some stuff I think flirted with how he felt about all that stuff, which I like. But before his death, a lot of stuff he was the ambiguous character. Now, you can have a character be ambiguous, but then we learn the true roles and motives of that character. You don't have to like them. I'm not saying the writing has to be deep, but the problem with me for Yoshida's character is that his role for much of part 2 was, I'm ambiguous, I'm doing what's told. It seemed like there was something big leading up for Yoshida, but then when push came to shove, as of what these recent chapters are showing me, I think he's gone out of the story. And although I think Yoshida is a bum and I don't really give a shit about his death, I think for him to die and not really leave, to me, a bigger, lasting, impactful role to part 2 feels like all the moments we got with him was just a tad bit disappointing on the overall level, right? You know, when Chainsaw Man Part 2 is done and we reread the series, we're going to look back, and how I currently feel as of right now anyway, there's a lot of stuff for his character to do something fun, to do something exciting. And although we saw a lot of him, he really didn't contribute to the story as much as I thought he could have, right? You know, a lot of people don't like Mifune. Mifune? Yeah, Fumiko? Is that her name? God, it's been a while, guys. Fumiko, yeah. Yeah, Fumiko. Yeah. You know, it's okay to not like her that much, but she's also not that deep of a character to me, right? Like, you know, she was introduced later on in part 2. We've seen a little bit about her. We know her devil contract. That's a wild revelation, right? But if she were to die, it's not really that serious to me, right? Like, you know, Fumiko is like one of those, like, she's a C-tier character. She's not really she's an ensemble character, right? Like, you know, she's one of the characters for sure. But there was more build-up and expectations I had with Yoshida characters than, like, Fumiko. So, like, if nothing happens to Fumiko, I don't really care. But when we had someone as pivotal and important as Yoshida, and what he could have revealed, or maybe the way he could have had more to do in this story, for him to go out like this, I don't like it. I think it's bad. You know, I just feel like we spent a lot of time for this to be his downfall, right? I don't know. It's like when he died, I'm like, wow, he really died. I'm like, we spent so much time and this is how he goes out. And again, I need to reiterate this. Like, I love a lot of things that part 2 has done, okay? But I'm saying these misses as we're, like, gearing up, right? This is kind of like the thing with the fake Chainsaw Man. The fake Chainsaw Man is a bit nuanced. I wish there was more, but it seems like what Fujimoto had in his head with the fake Chainsaw Man and what was done and established post that battle, right? Revealing it was 2 kids who were fans of who were fans of Denji. They made a deal with the Fire Devil. I wish there was more with that, but you know, I can look at that and say Fujimoto, he wanted to do this little self-contained narrative with the fake Chainsaw Man. I'll shrug my shoulders and accept it. I'm okay. I wish there would have been more, but I'm okay with that. Yoshida, to me, I think there were just much higher expectations for all that we got with him for him to go out like this. This is kind of like a little bit of a bitch moment to go out. This is how you go out with all the time we spent with you. I don't know. It's kind of hard to justify. You know, I'm going to have to get on a stream with no operator and just talk about how much of a letdown Yoshida's character was for me in part 2. We can pass this by. Barem why don't I have a problem with Barum? Because he is such a sinister villain, right? This moment pissed him off. Denji turns into the Black Chainsaw Man. Visceral. I love this. Mortal Kombat style. He gets eaten up. Is Barum gone for good? Well, we know that hybrids are basically immortal. So maybe this version of the flamethrower hybrid is gone and we might get a new one. If he's not, then this is it. Barum did enough to the story to give us some, exciting things to learn about the hybrids. He has this unrequited love for Makima still. Whether that was him still being manipulated years later or just how he always fantasized about Makima, because who wouldn't fantasize about Makima? Barum going out like this, it's fine. I wish there was more with his character too, because I loved Barum's charisma on screen. He was just such this vile, disgusting person. And Barum was set up nothing more than that. So I am okay with this, right? He goes out, R.I.P., whatever, Fami ends up saying, thank goodness Chainsaw Man didn't kill us. It seems he understands how dangerous this incoming devil is. And God, talk about a tease when we are getting transported into hell, or when we see all the doors, someone is appearing from hell, right? Is it going to be the darkness devil? Is it going to be a new primal fear? And it's Yoru. I mean, it's a very cool entrance, okay? It's a cool fucking entrance, but I was kind of hoping for a primal fear. Like, who was disappointed a little bit seeing this at the beginning of 215? I know I was. Anyway, let me go ahead and read the chat. I haven't read the chat here in a hot minute. Let me see. There's probably late to the stream. How's it going? Fortnite, what's going on? I still don't get why Yoshida explored and how did Barum turn into a bomb? Was it even him that did that? Wait, I still don't get why Yoshida exploded. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he just. Right? Like, did he just set off a detonation to blow himself up again to, like, maybe try and kill Denji one more time? But he knew Denji was going to get out of it anyway? I don't know. I really don't understand that, too. I wish I had a clear answer for that. Tone Roll 'em Up says, yeah, Yoshida was a giant question mark the entire time. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, make him a question mark for a good chunk of the story. Then we get the reveal and we get how he feels. And again, I think chapter 212, like, it's subtle, but he kind of, like, reveals how he kind of feels, right? Like, oh, man, maybe I should have, like, appreciated, whatever the hell happened. Oh, wait, no, it was 213. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and read this stuff with Yoshida. I brought drinks, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Remember that time when yada, yada, yada was school, blah, blah, blah. Why did you come here? I came to say goodbye. Okay. I had tons of fun going to school with you, and thanks for all the free food. Sorry. And then he blows up. My role is to be a switch. So I think he just blew up because he just volunteered to, like, detonate himself. And that was it. So even these things that I was talking about with him, I promise we'll move on here in the next, like, minute or two, is that this is just all conjecture, right? Conjecture of me, like, speculating of, like, what I think Yoshida felt. Going off of this conversation, it's like, yeah, it seemed like he enjoyed his time with Denji after all. And he came to say goodbye. And it seems like maybe there could have been more here. But we don't get that. So he was a big question mark this whole time. He blows himself up. And before we even get, like, a verbal explanation, because now this is just up to fan interpretation at this point, Barum says, fuck what you guys think. I'm going to burn him alive. And this is the end of Yoshida. I just felt like Yoshida, like, oh my God. If Yoshida just could have switched to the side of Denji and Fami and all that stuff and still lose in this battle against Yoru, at least make him go out, like, having this, like, hey, you know what? I've been ambiguous this whole time, but let me go out like a fucking Chad, I don't know. It just... This is just a big letdown for me. Anyway, we can move on from this. Let me go ahead and read the other comments here. Was it ever started what the secret organization he was working with was? Somniac, no, that's also one of my problems. But a lot of people are like, well, DJ Miles, it was public safety. It was public safety the whole time. It's like, okay, but why would he say he works for a secret organization to Denji when Denji also works at public safety, right? So is this just like, I don't want to say bad writing, but it's just like something that he said to Denji because, yes, Denji is dumb, but we aren't dumb. So why would you say you work for a secret organization and it doesn't go anywhere and it just public safety the whole time, right? I don't know. But then this opens up the whole can of worms again. I'm like, okay, he worked for public safety, but Kishibe also worked for public safety. And Kishibe also knows how important Denji and, Nayata's upbringing is. Where the fuck is Kishibe? I'm off that horse, okay? I swear. Robin says, it kind of felt like Pochita forcefully took control this time considering Denji didn't have a bond with Yoshida. Could be either the shock of seeing him or Pochita knowing that Yoro was coming. Yeah, I agree. That could be it. Let me see. Would be sad seeing if... okay, this is one we were talking about, the whole Reze bit. Sorry. Oh my god, there's a lot to say here. Sorry, let me breeze through these comments. Da-da-da-da-da. So the octopus devil alive, right? I think so. I think just his contract with, Yoshida is gone. Fortnite says, I think the fake Chainsaw Man was one of the biggest fumbles in part 2. Motherfucker popped up right in the middle of the Falling Devil arc, but built hype that went nowhere really. Yeah, there's problems with the fake Chainsaw Man. I agree. There's a lot of stuff within part 2, specifically with the fake Chainsaw Man, where I felt like there could have been a much better build-up and payoff, right? Like, let's say the ending, the conclusion is still the same. I think there could have been more things built up with this fake Chainsaw Man because it was built up so early. But I think, again, it's hard being a mangaka. I don't want to speak on Fujimoto's behalf. I'm sure whatever he was like penciling down, right? Like he has this big billboard of like, this is where Yoshida's going. This is where Asa's going. This is where Denji's going. I'm bringing up this fake Chainsaw Man, and I want this to be a pivotal moment in the beginning of part 2 when he ends up saving the cat instead of the kid and the elderly people in the car and blah, blah, blah. And I think he got so wrapped around the nuances of like the Falling Devil arc and introducing, Fami, who was really death, and bringing up the Chainsaw Man Church arc that like, it's not like he forgot, but he maybe just couldn't figure out a very cohesive way or a more cohesive way to write the fake Chainsaw Man, right? Like, I agree. I think it would have been cool that, like, hey, we saw the fake Chainsaw Man help during the Falling Devil arc. It could have been cool if he did more or if we followed up with it, just even with glimpses of what he was doing during the Chainsaw Man Church arc. I agree. I think there was a lot more that could have been done. But again, I think my piece with it, with how the story has fallen as of this point, I am okay with it. Right? Like, if we were to rank the stuff with the fake Chainsaw Man, I'm going to say it's like a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. There could have been a lot more done to improve it, but I am fine with it, with what it brought to the story. I wish there was a trailer of Chainsaw Man Season 2 at the end of the movie. That would be cool. I agree. Fake Chainsaw Man was a flop a little bit too. I wanted Fake Chainsaw Man to work under Yoru and be the second to last fight of the series behind Yoru versus Chainsaw Man. Whoa, that would have been really cool. I just realized that Yoshida is one of the very few side characters from Part 1 to make it into Part 2, to make it this far into Part 2 and have any meaningful presence. Yeah, like, there's more fucking meaningful presence with fucking, what's her name? Kobeni, Jesus. And I don't like Kobeni as much as everyone loves Kobeni. I know, hot take. People are forgetting that Fujimoto isn't great at organizing and portraying fights, so y'all expecting these team-ups and matchups is kind of weird. Fire Punch had great fights, though. True, wanted to see Power or somebody. Let me see. I think it was all planned. I still can't believe that the Octopus Devil would let Yoshida die. Yeah, good point. Right? That's like the Octopus Devil easily could have like done that. So I don't know. Cascade said, "Who were the men with baseball bats working for D? Fujimoto Forger. Wait, who were the men with the baseball bats? At the karaoke? Are you talking about that at the karaoke? I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about chapter 215. So Yoru comes out of hell. One of the things I wanted to talk about, go home and spend the rest of your life there. That's the condition. Okay, hold on. What's her? Agree to my condition and you can turn us into weapons. Go home to hell and spend the rest of your life there. That's a condition. Okay. If I use my powers, you'll die instantly. But you can't control its strength, right? Won't those friends you went to karaoke with die too? I have your friends. Your friend's unfair. Your power's unfair. Use it and my comrades will kill your friends. And look at Lil D. Kind of accepting it, right? Death, famine, I'm not interested in you two. I'm here to see Chainsaw Man. And this, I think, is very reminiscent of like Makima and Denji fighting in chapter like 84 or 87, right? So, guys, I mean, obviously we're here at the end. I don't understand how people just don't know that we're at the end. I mean, Yoru is the final antagonist all along. To me, this is setting up the final battle, right? Let's wage war. We're tied 1-1. This battle will prove which one of us is stronger once and for all. If you win, this world is yours. If I win, I'll claim both of it and you. Okay. Those are the stakes. Cool. They begin brawling. Epic double-page spread. Very cool. And then we see this flashback. And the reason on why Asa ends up tripping a lot, which is one of the biggest things we found out in, 16 and 17. Right? Let me see what ends up happening here. The Ducks, I think this is for Bucky, right? The Ducks she end up tripping on. Battle goes on. Oh, yeah, here's the reveal. She basically pulled another Makima 2.0. What do I mean by that? Makima made a contract with the Prime Minister of Japan that for every death or every time she died, one of the lives from Japan would be, replacing that death for her instead, right? So Yoru doing the same thing, but in America, she made a contract with the governor of California in exchange for me not attacking California. The citizens of California will shoulder the burden of my debts. Pretty crazy. It worked once. It worked twice, California has a population of 32 million. How many more people are going to die and, you're going to kill on their behalf? Chainsaw Man. And look at this. The accident devil. What a freaking cool devil. I think this is one of the most creative devils we have seen in this verse. And how can the accident devil not be menacing or terrifying, right? And I love how this is just like a whirlwind. Her body is just like of all these like accidents, right? Of, like cars, right? You think of accidents. What's one of the accidents, the biggest accidents that come in your head? A car accident, right? A collision. I like that. We see like barbed wires and other stuff like that. The accident devil definitely is scary. I'm glad Fujimoto had fun with this. And I think it's cool. And the power of the accident devil looks pretty freaking sweet. Turned to a fucking whip. Chainsaw Man eviscerated right here. Sweet panel. Yoru having fun. Denji says, So, look at that. And just like that, one guy ends up dying. Chainsaw Man killed him. We see this double page. We see this spread right here. Looks freaking awesome. We get a flashback again into Denji's and Asa's psyche. And she ends up looking at her mom. Is Asa's mom the source of Asa's trauma? Spoilers, yes. 217 revealed a lot of fucked up shit. This was a crazy flashback, without a doubt. Before we talk about 217, let's go ahead and just read the comment sections again. Let me see. Not to diss the GOAT Fujimoto when I say that too. I just kind of gaslit myself into believing he had more importance for the whole prophecy. Right. Well, I still think it can go somewhere. Again, we'll just see how that plays out because we're in the neck of this battle, right? Like we just started this battle. The twin that survived was the fake Chainsaw Man, right? But will that twin become fake Chainsaw Man again or something new? I think he died at the end of the fight with Denji, unless I missed something. Yeah, Taishim, yeah, he died. Yeah, Denji killed him. One twin died by falling when Denji killed the cockroach and saved the cat. The other died as fake Chainsaw Man. Yep, bingo. Let me see. Yeah, okay. All right. Learning the source of Asa's trauma. So Asa ends up telling Denji that, one day her and her family went to the riverbank. Devil busted out, attacked us. It was a weak devil because her mom ended up, taking it out with a rock. But the father lost a leg, right? Asa's mom says, hurry up, call some devil hunters. Asa ends up tripping and falling. Why did she end up tripping and falling? Maybe because this was a traumatic event, right? Well, yes, but not in the way that you think. Asa immediately goes, finds someone in public safety. She looks at the dad. The dad crushed by a rock. But we saw the dad alive. This would put any trauma on any kid. Asa's mom goes to bed with Asa. She says that you noticed I took out your father. But listen, he lost a leg. The insurance payout would be puny. It was bad enough that he wasn't working. Life would only get harder. But if he'd been taken out by a devil, we get a big payout. You can even go to school. Plus, he was cheating on me. Oh, man. Where do we unwrap this? Okay. This is the part that we have to believe, right? We know the mom lied, right? Lied to public safety that, hey, the devil killed your father. No. We know that she took out her husband. And, now this is her mom trying to justify the situation. If he just had the leg, the payout wouldn't be that much. But your life could change fundamentally if he was seen, reported, being taken out by the devil. I'm sure there's lots of life insurance in this world of, Chainsaw Man. And the payout is good if you lose a loved one, right? But what sucks is that, you just lost your father figure. But for her to justify killing her husband in front of her daughter by saying, oh, and by the way, he was cheating on me. It's like, okay, let's say that is true. He cheated on you and therefore you killed him. Whew, you need a fucking therapist, lady. Okay? But it doesn't end there. Because Asa ends up saying that I don't know whether or not my mom was a bad person, but it's true that my life got better after my dad's death. He was always drunk and sometimes he got violent. Now, I'm going to believe this, right? So he cheated on the wife. He was a drunk and he got violent. That day when I ran through the alley to call the devil hunters, I tripped and fell on purpose. I thought if I took too long to call for help, maybe my dad wouldn't survive. Do you think I'm a bad person? So, in a way, she knew that her father wasn't the best. And I want to save my dad, but also not really. But when she ends up finding out what her mom did, that was also kind of really dark, right? Her hearing that out loud, you can tell she's visibly shooken up. Now, what I saw some people say, whether it's on No Operators video or people just talking about the chapter, is that why would a guy who is a cheat, who gets violent, who gets drunk, would end up saving, the family, right? This is I'm no therapist. I have a friend who is a therapist, And I think something like this is very nuanced, right? You can still be a bad person, but I think maybe one scenario in a fight or flight situation, hey, maybe I'm not the best father in the world, but when push comes to shove, no one is going to touch my family, right? And even on a darker side to that, let's say he's a drunk and he is a violent person, but now he sees a devil coming up to his family, and this is going to sound really fucked up, but no one gets violent to my family except me, right? Like now he will be the protector in this situation. I will protect my family because no one can get violent to my family except for me. Only I can put hands on my wife. Only I can put hands on my daughter. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, what is the reasoning for him to protect the daughter or the family? Hey, only I can get violent on my family. No one can touch my family but me. It's a really warped and fucked up situation. We also don't know why he was a cheat and why he was a drunk and why he got violent. The father probably is going through some shit of his own, because you cannot have those qualities, I would argue, of being a drunk and being violent and maybe, cheating on your spouse if there wasn't some pent-up trauma you were trying to unpackage or not, suppress, right? But despite all those shitty things, at the very end, he can at least be a decent person and save his family in light of this devil attack, okay? So, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying there's a lot of situations despite him being a bad person, according to the mom and Asa, on why he would save or protect his family in light of a DJ attack, and a DJ Balls attack, in a devil attack, okay? Now, does it make it right? I would say no, but again, I'm not the spouse. I am not the daughter who sees my dad beat up my mom and get violent with my mom or get violent on me, right? It's a shitty situation. But still, for her to say all this stuff out loud and in the way that she said it, there could have been some reframing here where the mom is like, hey, Asa, you saw what I did. It's really messed up. We're not going to lie, but look how much better our lives have become because of it, right? It's like, dude, she doesn't even turn and look at her daughter when she says this stuff. She just saying it oh, so you saw me, right? Yeah, you saw him. You saw that situation? Well, he cheated on me. He was the bum. The insurance wouldn't have paid. Whatever, right? There just could have been a much better way for her mom to say this. Asa has shitty parents. Case closed, right? But the source of her trauma is unpacked right here, right? I tripped and fell on purpose. I thought if I took too long to help, maybe my dad wouldn't have survived. So, even though she ended up finding out that her mom took out her father, she was still kind of secretly rooting that, hey, if I just fall on purpose and trip and fall a lot and this takes long, maybe my dad will die. And that way, hey, well, he died from the devil attack. I didn't kill him. The devil... him losing the loss of blood from the leg is what took him out. It's kind of messed up, but more importantly, Asa's like, does this make me a bad person? And this is when Denjit ends up saying that, hey, I took out my father and I made it look like an alive attempt, but I'm a good person. They both look at each other and they laugh. And that's how the chapter ends in real time, or simultaneously, while they're laughing, we see the battle of Chainsaw Man and Yoru commence, right? Or continue. Yeah, good chapter. I like that chapter. We get the source of Asa's trauma, finally. We end up finding out what all those chickens... Well, I mean, we really don't know the source of the chickens. Maybe it was the Bucky thing, right? But yeah, now that this is unraveled and unpackaged, what is going to happen next? I would like to see how the battle can... Admitting out loud the source of his trauma, not only to Asa, but just saying it, right? Like Denji can accept it, but Denji saying it is a whole different thing too. And I think there's some character growth from that as well, right? And what Denji is saying is very like, oh my God, this is a bit disturbing. But from what we know of Denji's father, he was very abusive. And in a situation where Denji, again, when you're a young child in a do or die situation, it's either I'm going to go out or, you know, this person who's doing these violent acts on me, I got to take him out. So could there be some trauma bonding here? Yes, I would say with everything we've seen Asa and Denji go through, I definitely think there could be some trauma bonding. And as a result, now there'll be more, you know, now because they both can understand each other on a deeper level, on a more, you know, emotional human level. Yeah, there could be some form of attraction or deeper attraction as a result. But even if something does happen, does that mean they will end in a happily ever after? We don't know because this is Chainsaw Man after all. Oh, someone said the audio died? Wait, is it working now? Hold on. Check. Audio works. Be some form of attraction or deeper attraction. Oh, okay. I don't know how long the audio died, but Choco Drop says recent latest chapters were good in my opinion. It feels like that part where Asa has her flashback traumatic experience, same as Denji did in part 1, though at that point Makima was in his mind. Flashback in Fujimoto's story really ends well. I agree. D says, sorry, I'm late. Hi, Miles. How you doing, D? Hello. Yeah, I think that's it. So, guys, we rambled for an hour and 7 minutes. I think this is a good part to end the stream. If you are catching the stream, I basically was telling everyone that I got a copyright strike and I got my Kagurabachi video, my year 1 video. I split it into two parts, right? Part 1 going over arc 1, part 2 going part 2, obviously, because I was preparing to put out part 3 tomorrow. But if I put out part 3 tomorrow, I'm almost guaranteed to get a copyright strike, and if I get a second copyright strike, I won't be able to. I know, D. I know it sucks. I won't be able to upload videos for the next 90 days, but rest easy because I already submitted a counter notification. As you guys can see here. Hold on. Yeah, can you get? Well, I don't know if you guys can really read that. But yeah, it says, hey, you got a copyright strike. You go to next steps. Don't worry, the video is taken down now, but the counter notification has been forwarded. If Shueisha doesn't say anything in 10 business days, these videos will be reinstated and this copyright strike will be lifted. So don't worry, I don't think I'm going anywhere, but if you don't hear from me for a while, you'll know why. And that's kind of like the shitty situation, right? I think some people can say, well, DJ Miles, just wait for these 2 videos to be reinstated so you can put out part 3. But I'm telling you, no matter what, that part 3 video is going to get a strike. So we either just deal with all the strikes, so then all those videos can come out simultaneously at the same time, around the same time, or we just wait another 2 weeks and then, just have, like, I don't know. It's a shitty situation. Either way, I think I'm going to get a second strike the moment that video comes out. And I paid my editor a lot of money. So no, I want the video freaking out. Yeah. And then, we talked about Chainsaw Man catching up to the latest chapter. I was going to make a video, but of course the bi-weekly devil has struck again and he is no fun, or they are no fun. We talked about Kishibe, Reze, the good stuff. Yoshida dying was pretty lackluster. The fake Chainsaw Man, kind of questionable. I can understand if people hate it. I hate it too, but not as much as other people do. And yeah, that's it. So, we'll see what happens. Taishim says, DJ Miles, I pray for you. Hopefully YouTube back off for real. YouTube really sucked with their copyright strike. You got that right. I just don't know why, like, to be devil's advocate, I understand why Shueisha does this stuff, but it's like, okay, but we are literally transforming the video, right? I'm just not showing the manga panels and just showing them, right? It's like, oh, well, I am, but there's music, there's action sequences, I'm narrating over it, right? Watching my video is a good way to know about the series, but the best experience is to read it on your own time. And to get the full experience, right? Or just support them, go on Viz, $2.99 a month. Whatever. But this is all to say, me and other content creators that talk about whatever series, Kagurabachi, Chainsaw Man, Dandadan, we're promoting it for free. So I think it's always disheartening getting a strike. Again, the strike is going to be lifted in 10 days, but that video, it has to come out. I just can't not have it come out, So, yeah. But all right, guys, I'm going to end the stream here. We were yapping for a good hour, 70 minutes. Love you guys. Take care. Be safe. Again, for anyone who wants the Dandadan playmat, hit me up on Discord. It's $30 here, but I will discount it for $15 for any of you guys because you guys are my community. I love you guys. And, yeah, that's it. So take care. Drink your water. Brush your teeth. Go exercise. I know some people don't like to exercise. I'm looking at you. I know you can walk for 15, 20 minutes this week. At least exercise twice this week. You don't have to go to the gym. Just walk. Do some push-ups.